You can tell her, you can tell her anything. She's a real good listener. You can tell her anything.
Hello, welcome to You Can Tell Me Anything. This is the podcast where comedians confess something they want to get off their chest. And filmmakers now, we've expanded in this new era post-quarantine. I'm really excited for my guest, which you guys, if you're on the live, you can see him. He is a filmmaker. I met him last year while touring with my short film, I Think She Likes You. He has a wonderful short and more stuff coming out. I'll let him talk a little bit about that as soon as I introduce him. It's Drama del Rosario. What's up?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay. I feel like I wrote this backwards and then I didn't really set up the lighting well, and my face is very bright and it's too late. Everyone can see. This is what I look like when I work at home. It's fine. You look fabulous though.
Thank you. I did my face like 2 hours before this whole thing even started. I was like, I want to invest some time in making my face look good on Instagram Live. So
I love it. It's like your room is like is that a backdrop, or is your wall like an Instagram
this
wall?
is a blanket. I'm in my living room
my
right
God,
now, and
I
I just
love
like
it.
put on like I have like one of those like laundry railing things, and then I just put like
Very
a blanket over it.
professional.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, okay, I want to just introduce you a little bit to the confidants on this stream and people who are going to listen to this after as well, because it is recorded in audio. So before we get into your projects, I just like to start right away with a good confession, just to have a positive note. Is there something good you'd like to confess? You made a face. Things can't be all that bad all the time, right? I know, it's hard right now to think of good stuff, but I have faith.
Oh, okay. So a little humble brag. I have a project that's gonna be dropped sometime this week.
Ooh,
So
that's
later
a
this
little
week,
teaser.
I
Okay.
can't say that much because some of them might be watching this live or whatever. But it has something to do with a queen from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Ooh, okay. I am teased.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I think it involves someone who you've worked with in the past.
Oh, okay. Ooh. I don't even know. That's a mystery to me.
So yeah, stay tuned because later this week, like, there's gonna be a little, RuPaul's Drag Race related
Amazing.
kind of announcement coming up. So stay tuned for that. I'm not sure if I can say much yet,
Okay.
but I'm gonna get like a bunch of like green lights over the next few days, and I will start like dropping hints
Oh, good.
here and there.
Well, our appetites are whetted, but you can talk about your short film In This Family, which is the one I saw, the doc that we met at Q Films. I saw Aldo in the chat. Hello, Aldo.
Yes,
I don't know if
I
you
saw
know, but-
Aldo.
But yeah, so you made this really beautiful documentary, which is where we met, and it's available online if people want to watch it. Is that right? Cool. Or is it available, or can people watch it right now, or if they want?
Oh yeah, it
check
is
out?
available. It's available on Reverie.tv, which is a queer streaming platform. For only a couple months left. Like my whole run, because I had a 2-year run with them, and my 2-year run is about to end. So watch it while you can. You can get like a free subscription, like those 30-day trial things, and watch my film there. But also I'm doing like a bunch of short film screenings on Instagram Live here and there, because I'm trying to be creative with, finding opportunities for filmmakers to screen their short films. And so we've been like playing around with different films that I made and streaming them on Instagram Live, and This Family is one of them. Yes, so that's Reverie.tv. Reverie.tv, REVRY.tv. And it's a queer streaming platform. They have so much like really good queer content out there that you can watch. They have 30-day free trial, if I'm not mistaken. Like either 7 days or 30 days, something like that. So take advantage while everyone is at home, social distancing.
Yeah, there's nothing else you guys are doing.
That's really cool. And then obviously follow Drama for the tea on this secret project that he can't reveal. But well, I think we've introduced you to the audience here. So this info is also up here, so anyone joining can see it. So let's just get into it. I like to, before we get into the main confession, this podcast for new listeners is loosely based on sort of going to therapy and just like getting things off your chest. we do keep it light because it's comedic, but that's sort of where it was inspired by. So I'm curious, like, what's your experience with therapy? Have you ever gone, or do you what's your just relationship with sort of like going to talk about things and in that perspective?
Yeah, so I started going to therapy, I want to say February or March, early of 2019. Yeah, and then it's a weekly thing. I go here and there. Part of my whole journey with going to therapy, I documented in my upcoming documentary, which is I'm Okay, Neither Are You. Yeah, so like I had, gone through this really horrible sexual assault experience in 2018. Um, and, it was affecting my regular life. And yeah, I like going to therapy just like helped move on with that. Am I being seen?
That's really cool that you started going to therapy. I mean, it seems like it's still a very recent. Oh, you froze. Oh my gosh, I feel like a grandma because you're frozen. And then, okay, can you hear me?
I can't
like,
hear
hello?
you. Wait. Okay,
Kids.
let's try this again.
Drama. You're causing so much drama in the live stream.
I'm so sorry. I have no idea what.
No,
live, like,
not at all.
For some reason, Instagram Live hates me.
I'm not sure what to do because I know we all love you. I just feel like I don't know if it's going to keep happening. Should we do this offline? I mean, I really do want to make it work. He's frozen again. Oh, he's back. Okay, so we're back. We've figured it out. The live did not work, but me and Drama are FaceTiming, and it's happening. So we're going to put out the episode. So where we left off, Drama, I was just asking you, is there anything you would like to tell me?
Like the big confessional?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
The floor
okay.
is yours.
My big confessional would be that, this whole social distancing thing, I am enjoying it. Like, I am not an outside kind of person. Like, I just love to lay on the couch and, like, sleep, which is so weird because everyone has this perception that, one, I'm a super extrovert, which, like, I don't even like going out to parties, and I don't even like going to, like, social events.
I mean, you're wearing
whatever.
a choker for an Instagram live, so...
And but like everyone also has this perception that me being a documentary filmmaker, that we're all like outdoorsy and we want to like get to know people and whatever. But like, I mean that's fun, but like I also feel like lying on the couch and binge watching something is also fun. So
Yes,
Yeah.
I get it.
So I love that because so many people are, I feel like, making adjustments, but the way they're approaching social distancing is like, this is, hampering my routine, but here's what I'm going to do with like the, almost like within the restrictions. But for you, you're like thriving. This is not like adjusting. This is like you're in your element.
Oh yeah, because like I work hard. I work really hard, and so I value my time when I'm not working. So being able to like stay at home and like rest is really fun. But then I also get all the people who they get really in their head when they're not doing anything, such as like just staying at home and distancing yourself for everyone. Like I have been like feeling that too, and I didn't think I would be the kind of person who would feel that. Yeah.
Well, I have a question because you're a documentary filmmaker, so in a way you make your own hours. I mean, obviously it doesn't mean that your hours are light at all. It's almost like they're more because you're your own boss, and I'm sure knowing how artists are, it's like, you're like, oh, I could do another extra hour, another this, and then you're just up all night doing it. So how has it affected your daily routine, considering like a lot of what you've been doing has been sort of like in your own time on your own projects?
Yeah, no. So right now I am working full time for a documentary production company here in Hollywood. And just a couple weeks ago, we were traveling all over the US, working on a bunch of nonfiction projects. We have a mini docuseries, we have a documentary series, and a lot of our projects involve interviewing people with rare diseases and patients. And we had laid out for the rest of March and I think a little bit of early April that the team is going to be traveling all over the US.
Oh wow.
And
This is
just
before
like
the pandemic. Right?
and like we were in Albany, we just finished shooting an interview with this really great guy, and then this whole coronavirus thing just like exploded, and like we were supposed to go to Chicago and San Francisco and Portland and Idaho or Iowa or like wherever, all different
One of
places,
the eyes.
all different places, and now like the whole trip has been postponed because
Yeah.
one, coronavirus, and two, being a team that has traveled all over the US, we don't want to go into someone's home and like unknowingly
Sure.
bring coronavirus to this, you know, rare disease person's home.
Of course. Yeah. Wow.
That would be so irresponsible. So, you know, it's a smart decision to just like, no, we're all going back to LA. We're all gonna self quarantine and all of that. So, I mean, now I'm still working, thank God, but working from home full time. So that's good. Like that is a huge weight off of my shoulders.
Do you like working from home better?
I do. Like especially right now, like working from home, a lot of the things that I'm personally doing is one, pre-production and research, which is like gathering different articles, you know. I'm limited to like online articles and like online archives, but it's something. And I'm also doing a little bit of like not marketing, accounting. Because I like, that is one thing that I don't think people know about me, is that I love a good Excel sheet.
Oh my God, me too. Wait, I'm like a Virgo moon, so I'm like, it's in my blood, but.
I love a good budget. And I feel like when a film is in post-production stage, everyone just wants to be like on the creative, like editing, post-production side, but I am just ready to like scan all of those receipts and put all of that data on the Excel sheet. And that's what I did. I think on the first week of my quarantine, a couple days were dedicated to just like accounting and budgeting, which I enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, there is something very, like, I like that balance because, of course, like, you're a creative person, I'm a creative, but, like, I think being able, you produce your own short, right? I feel like you did so much of it that it really shows. Like, I think that is an element that is really important to be an artist, especially when you're doing a lot of your, you know, your own projects kind of start to finish. Like, you do have to be able to manage like the budget and like, you know, your crew and the schedule, and otherwise you get film students who are like 5 years after film school, they haven't put out their senior project, you know, like, which is okay, things take time, but I think the reason you're very productive and you have so many projects out there is because you're organized, so it shows.
Oh, thank you. You know, a lot of people will roll their eyes and be like, accounting is boring and all of these documents and stuff is boring, but I can like happily say that sometimes it is a secret weapon of sorts to like know how to do this accounting stuff and to like know all the legal work and all the laws and documents involved in making a film. Like,
yeah, I mean, I used to make these production binders for like a sketch group that I just did with my friends. Like, we did it. Nobody was asking us to even make sketches, but then I would like take meeting notes and have these binders after every shoot. But it was useful because then down the road, when I, you know, eventually got hired to actually, or got paid to produce other people's things, it was really easy for me to go back and look at my notes and be like, oh, this was something I learned from this set and this, and I just incorporated all that, and it made it way easier. And people were like, oh, you're so organized. I'm like, yeah, it's because I did it when I didn't have to, and now that I'm supposed to, it's like easy, you know. Okay, that's really cool. So, okay, I want to talk more about you being like, because you said you're like being socially distant, but then you said you think people think you're an extrovert. Do you identify as an introvert, or are you just like a selective extrovert?
do you know MBTI? Like that psychological like test thing where you're like
Is that like the
four-letter combination?
Myers-Briggs?
Yes, that one. MB stands for Myers-Briggs or Myers-Briggs, whatever that means. So I usually I take the tests like here and there sometimes, and I usually get the same answer every time. Like, my personality really hasn't changed, but I fluctuate between extrovert and introvert. So
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, she has sides.
because like when I go out, I love to go out and I like to have fun. But when I rest, I like to like rest. Sometimes I just don't like dealing with people, you know.
Yeah, it can be very draining. I found the weird part, I think I am an extrovert on that scale, but I do really like need like breaks. I can't just constantly be around people. Like some people I feel like can, go on a week-long festival with a group of friends and just constantly be around people. I'm like, that is a nightmare. Like I need to have my own space. But I found that social distancing has actually made me feel in ways like it's hard to take a break because I'm constantly looking at my phone, looking at my computer. And
I feel that.
how's that been for you? Like, are you actively making like hangouts with friends or?
Yeah, I have like work calls. I have FaceTimes with friends. We have like a bunch of like support group Zoom conferences, which are just like catching up with everyone. Because there's one film fellowship that I was part of last year, and we have bi-weekly support Zoom conferences.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just to, like,
Was that
check
the
up.
BAFTA one?
What was that?
Oh, was it the BAFTA? Or
No, well, there's also a BAFTA Zoom conference call, and then so this is called Next Doc, that fellowship. So we have a Next Doc conference call, I have a work conference call, I have a conference call with Sophie Sumner, who was the winner of America's Next Top Model. She also runs a support group on Zoom. And it's really interesting because like they're turning Zoom from like this work conference call space to now just like catching up with each other and making sure everyone's okay and all of that.
wait, so were you doing these support groups via phone call before the pandemic?
No,
So this
were
is new.
like
Okay.
all of these are new. Like all of these are like
Wow.
like they used either like these conference calls did not exist period, or they would be like physical meetups like the BAFTA meetup or like a work meeting that because of social distancing now has to be online. Yeah. But then I just love like see that is okay. So here's how
Yeah,
I
I
feel
want to
about
hear.
it.
Okay, give me more specifics because, like, what do you like better? Because it seems like it's the interaction itself is still happening, so it's not like you're not. It's not like you're like, oh, I don't have to do this thing anymore.
Exactly.
But there's something better about not having to go out and actually see the person.
Yes. So I like interacting with people. I like talking to people. I like checking if they're okay. What I don't like is the preparation that you have to do to meet up with another person, such as a very basic thing like wearing clothes. Like I grew up in the Philippines. I grew up in a very tropical country where it's very hot and it's very humid, so I hate wearing clothes. So if I have to go to a party or if I have to go to a work meeting and I have to wear pants, like I hate it. Like I hate cloth touching my legs. And
That's
so
so
just
funny.
this whole like interface of Zoom where you only have to get ready from like the waist up is heaven for me.
I mean, I literally just went online and ordered like 3 pairs of leggings and sweats yesterday because I was like, I don't wear sweats a lot, but I've been feeling weird wearing jeans at home when I, don't have to. But then I also, don't want to just wear the same thing. So then I was like, I guess I'll get sweatpants. But I feel you on that. Although I will say, like, I do enjoy I like being able to feel like I'm putting on like a face to go out in the mornings here and there.
this
So
is-
that I have.
Like,
But
the
you
people
look
in the
great. See, I
podcast-
feel like your level is like
See,
your
this is what the people on like the audio podcast won't be able to see. So right now my face is done. See all the contour and all the highlighting.
and an outfit. You've got a look on.
I have a look on. I have this really nice color blocking sweater. I have my accessories. But from the waist down, I'm wearing Nike running shorts.
Oh my god, I love it. Okay, I see. Yeah. So it's like you can control the you like it's like you can just it's like a filter for your life, I guess, right?
I
Because
guess,
it's like
yeah.
on Snapchat you just have to put a filter on or whatever, but in real life you have to get 360 ready.
I just remembered another thing I hate about social interactions, or like the part about getting like all the build up towards social interactions. I don't like traveling. Like I don't like car rides. Like I just don't like traveling.
That's fair. Traffic sucks. I could feel that. There's a lot of, especially for you know, even if whether you're an extrovert or introvert, I think there's still this, like, creative people, I feel like you can get drained so easily because all day your brain is in work mode, right? You don't really stop. You stop your day job and then you're thinking about your next project. So it can be very draining to just be like, I have to, you know, get in my car and, you know, go meet this person and then have a conversation and then, you know, where am I going to park and what am I going to eat? And then I still have 3 things to do when I come home. And so I think even that part can be very exhausting.
Absolutely. Like I watched a lot of Final Destination as a kid, and so like car rides and like plane rides and roller coasters, not roller coasters, but like traveling in general is just like so stressful for me.
So this is like you have a physical fear of traveling.
It's sort of. I would say so. Like I hate planes. I hate like car rides for me. Like I get car sick very easily. I always need a good playlist when I'm in a car. Just like ease my tensions.
Do you get anxiety going into your car or like just like driving and stuff?
Not really. I wouldn't say anxiety. I just like get. Oh, my boyfriend just turned the faucet on. So hi. No. So I wouldn't say it's anxiety. It's more of just like I can't wait for the car ride to be over. Like I hate when a car ride is like 25 minutes long. Like that for me is long. So if I can interact with you just by a press of a button, then that makes me happy.
So when this all ends, do you feel like you're going to try to continue some interactions via, I mean, because that's what people are saying is that it's going to change the way people interact in many ways. Like some things can just be done on Zoom and maybe are better. So are you going to push for hanging out with people on Zoom, like, you know, catch up kind of situations?
I would say so. I mean, the amount of money that I spend just like taking Ubers everywhere. I don't have a car. So I rely on like Uber and Lyft. Like I have a Lyft premium account or whatever that's called. So like the amount of money that I save by not having to travel, by not having to get ready in the morning, not having to like feed myself with food, to just have energy for the whole day. Like I'm happy.
I think you still have to eat when you're at home. But
That's true. That's true. But I don't have to eat as much because like when
are you
I
just
go
not
out,
eating this whole time?
When I go out,
wow,
I need to have like carbs. I need to have like lots of coffee, and I need to have like all this food to sustain me throughout the day. I need to have chips and like all of those like little nuts and whatever, or else I'm just gonna be like so drained. But now like I don't have to do that much physical work. Oh my god, like I have not been exercising at all.
It's you know, that was my follow-up question is how do you stay motivated when your day kind of blends in like that, like to get things done? Because it sounds like you are being very productive and I can sense your energy is, you know, your level is high. And for a lot of people they have the opposite reaction when they're home. They get, you know, depressed and kind of like slow. So do you have routine or tips that keep you sort of motivated, or this is just your natural state, like you're like thriving?
I don't know. I wouldn't say I have a routine, but like notifications popping up constantly now that you have nothing really to keep you busy aside from your phone. Like if I'm at work, I'm looking at my work laptop and I'll look at my phone here and there. But now like I'm just like I can see my phone getting notifications constantly, and that makes your mind like turn really quickly, like what's someone doing right now, what's new that's coming up, who's on live, and yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, so you like that feeling of like constant notifications?
I do.
No, that didn't come out. I mean, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just curious because I think that there's no right way to be, but I think not everyone does, so that's why I'm asking. So sometimes it stresses people out.
Yeah. I don't know, but here's one thing that has been like really interesting, and I want you to like kind of analyze it because I still don't know how to absorb it. So,
all right. I'll do my best.
Do you know The Sims video game?
Yes. Yeah.
So I love The Sims. I love the whole virtual life, making your own like person, building a house type thing. And I always told myself that if there's ever a time when I have days and weeks where I can just stay at home, all I'm gonna do is play The Sims and play video games and whatever. But since this whole social distancing happened, I had not played The Sims because there's this constant fear in my mind wherein if I play The Sims, I might be missing someone's Instagram live. Or I'm gonna like fade into like the oblivion and everyone like because when you like build a house on The Sims, like you will get so absorbed in it, like, and you will build that house for like 5 days straight. And I'm so worried that like in those 5 days where I'm just building a house, I'm just gonna be like completely out of the loop on everything. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, and it's really interesting because
My boyfriend right now is like looking at me with like a really kind of face. Why? Why are you looking at me like that? He's like rolling his eyes.
well, I think it's the interesting part is you said like if there's any before this you thought if there's ever a time when you're just like home for a long time, and that kind of implies like the rest of the world is going on as normal, and it's almost like you get a little break, right? Like for whatever reason, let's say you got a vacation or whatever, a staycation, then that's nice because your responsibilities are cut and the rest of the world is moving on. But now it's like the whole world has stopped. So there is pressure in other ways to like connect, right? So you feel FOMO if you're not watching the things. Whereas before you'd just be like, well, I'll just miss a week of like going to my friends' events. But now it's like all these new things are happening every day. Like, what am I going to miss in history? I don't know.
Yep.
Well, I've been that way with writing because I used to, I have the day job too, and I've been writing outside and just thinking like, one of these days I just like, if I could just have a week and just work from home. But now I do, and I have not touched my script because I felt so overwhelmed that I was like, I can't focus on this thing that I was doing before. So I don't know if that'll change in a few weeks, but I can relate to like not wanting to just proceed as planned.
Yeah, no, because I am like low-key happy that I am not in the middle of, like I am not editing something right now. Because if I were editing something right now, I would feel that constant pressure of just needing to open Premiere and just edit. And right now, like, I just want to not have a big looming gray cloud over my head that's like telling me to do something. So, thankfully.
Yeah. Or if you had to shoot, I mean, that's the other thing is like, man, it just really stopped everything. There's like production shut down. Like, I mean, I guess if you were pregnant and having a baby, you would still have to go to the hospital. But people are like not going to the hospital if they don't have to. So it's pretty wild. Have you always been like I don't know what the term is, not socially distant, but I know you say you like this socially distant. Like, have you always kind of been like that? Had that personality of like, just like I need my space, like. Or did you sort of like reach a point where you were like, because I know you're also very online and you make videos and that sort of thing, so you have a network online. Did you sort of cross over at a certain point where you're like, I enjoy being alone and I have a network and I feel connected?
I mean, I think I just like pick and choose my friends and who I get along with and who I bond with. I like growing up, you know how a lot of people like grew up with a best friend or like a circle of friends? Well, I grew up in like all boys Catholic Filipino school, so I never really like grew up with like a circle of friends or like best friends and whatever. So I'm fine just like minding my own business and all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I have a twin sister and we've been close, but I remember growing up thinking like feeling jealous that I didn't have a best friend. And I wonder if that is like, I'm like, you're more of a personality online than I am, but I've definitely embraced being digital and all that. And I think there is something that the digital network provides that like the traditional, like growing up in America, high school, like with the cliques and everything that I didn't fit in. And that way I was more drawn to the digital world. So I can totally relate to that because if you weren't like, the queen bee or the high school quarterback, you could feel really ostracized. But the online world, you can find your people in all different communities and then like bind together. So I get that. Yeah, that's really interesting. When did you move to America?
I moved to LA from Manila in the Philippines in September 2017, because that is when I started my master's degree in documentary film. I took the MFA in documentary from the New York Film Academy, the Los Angeles campus.